Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I'm going to share with you my very first landscape painting. So let's jump right in. So I am going to swatch out the 4 colors that I'm going to use in this, and I'm going to walk you through them to start. But just so you are aware, I am actually following a Skillshare course while I paint this. So this isn't my own, imagination coming up with something. I am taking a class. And, maybe one day we'll be sponsored by Skillshare. That would be pretty cool. But I am not. This is just something that I choose to, have because I like to learn new skills and I really wanted to learn to paint. And I opted to share paintings with you this month because of a few reasons. It's a skill that I really want to work on. And I find that personally, I tend to only work on skills if out of the crafty nature, if I have a reason to share them on the channel. Otherwise, they kind of fall to the wayside of other projects. And it's a brand new year, and I think this is a great time to, sit down and try new things if that's something you're interested in. So for my colors, I have a Mijello Mission Gold palette. It's 36 paints, and I don't have the exact colors that are being asked for in the class, so I end up mixing my own a lot of the time, and I'm the first one to admit I'm not great at that. I kind of have to guess and hope that I'm kind of going in the right direction. So if you're really into watercoloring and you know lots about it, please give me your tips and tricks. I would love to know. I am going to share a bunch of paintings this month. The class is actually 30 paintings because the idea is that you would paint one every day for 30 days. I won't be able to do that, but I am going to sit down and do all 30 paintings eventually. In this month, I'm hoping to share 4 or 5 with you guys. And though I think this one turned out pretty great, there are other ones in this month that I'm not as happy with, but I'm still going to share them with you because I think it's important to see when someone's starting a brand new skill and to see that, nobody's perfect, you don't start out knowing how to do things, which is why I'm going to take a class in it. So bear that in mind as we kind of go through this painting. So for the colors that I got to use in this, I used orange, permanent red, red brown, and then the instructor asked for Payne's Gray, but I don't have Payne's Gray in a watercolor. I have indigo, which I know is not the same thing, but I used indigo and I used just a touch of sepia in it to kind of just tone it back a little bit. And again, I am not a watercolorist. I am just, trying my best and kind of having a play and really enjoying it. So keep that in mind as you watch this, because I know it can be scary to share something you're new at and not necessarily any good. You know what I mean? Like, I had no idea how this is going to turn out. I just knew that I wanted to share it with you guys because I know how scary it can be, and to hopefully, encourage you, if you're hoping to try something new, to give this a go and see if it's something you enjoy. Not watercoloring necessarily, if that's not something that interests you, but anything. It could be, watercolor, it could be drawing, it could be creating cards, it could be art journaling, it could be whatever it is that you want to try that you're brand new at. This is my call to you to give it a go and see what happens, and just, try and be okay with it not being great. I promise you, I've, as I said you guys many times now, I am filming all of these in advance. So because of that, I have already filmed, I believe 3 paintings at this point. I actually only have 7 videos left to do for the month. And we're still in December at this point as I'm recording and editing this for you guys. So that tells you how hard I'm working. And this was just a lot of fun. I had a blast painting these. And now if you want me to try to kind of explain the steps, I absolutely can, but please keep in mind, I am a beginner, so I don't know if I can give you a lot of valuable information. I can explain what I'm doing. So you saw me draw in the mountain range, and then we're going for a very beautiful sunny sky, or the sun is setting, so we're going for a setting sun sky. So we started with orange, and then I put that down. I then mixed orange and red together to kind of have a blended color. Then we did the brown, mixed that with the red to get a blended color. And then we add just that little bit of sepia on top. Well, it's indigo mixed with a little bit of sepia. It's supposed to be Payne's Gray, but I don't have any Payne's Gray. So I am working with what I have, because if you've been with my channel for a while, you will know that I am a big believer in using what you have. Don't buy new things unless you feel they'll be useful to you. So in this class, the instructor has a bunch of classes that use pastel watercolors, and you're going to see my next painting, and it had pastels in it. I don't own any pastel watercolors. So because of that, for that class, I mixed them. But I didn't like the tone I was getting because I don't understand color mixing well enough to pull off a pastel. So I opted to order some pastel watercolors because I love pastel colors. I really want to watercolor. And I think for me personally, it's just going to be a little more straightforward to have pre-mixed pastel colors. Now, if it was just, we're going to change from one shade to the other, then yeah, I would just mix it on my palette. But to create a whole new shade when I don't totally understand what I'm doing, it felt easier to me to just purchase a separate watercolor set that I don't own. So at this stage, the top has kind of dried, and you can see that I feel like I've used too much water. My colors were too muted on the top. So I'm going to go back in and do a second layer. That is one thing that I am so excited about for watercolor, is that you get to layer. So if you're not happy with your first layer, no problem. Go in and add a little more color on top. That's perfectly okay. So that is exactly what I'm doing. So instead of working, from the orange to the red to the brown to the darkest color, I'm kind of going in reverse at this stage because I like how my red and orange are looking. I just don't really like how the brown and the indigo sepia mixture kind of got lost with too much water at the top. And I didn't show you cutting down the cardstock and taping it to my board in this video because this was already prepped from a painting that I had done in a little bit of oils in a vlog a while back, and I had still had this paper taped to the board, so I just used that. But in my next painting video, I will show you actually cutting on the cardstock, sticking it to the board, so you know what cardstock I'm using. Of course, everything I use is always linked and listed down in the description. If you're at all interested, you can always go check that out. So, completely up to you. You guys let me know. And if you would prefer these videos with a little bit of music, I can do that too. I don't know what you guys' preference will be for these because I can't really teach you how to paint because I honestly don't really know myself. So it's kind of hard for me to be like, yeah, this is what you should be doing. I can tell you what I'm doing, but I can't really tell you how to do the watercolor. So if you have Skillshare or you know a creator that currently has, because sometimes other creators are sponsored by Skillshare and they'll have like a free month subscription, you could go and take this whole class because it is 30 days of watercolors. So you just need, a basic set of watercolors other than the pastels. That one kind of, I'm getting my hand on them pastels because I love pastel colors. But, you can check out, I will link the Skillshare class down below. You can just click on the link and go and check it out. But Skillshare is a paid membership, so you would have to actually, pay for it. But I don't feel it's really expensive. I don't know. As a person who loves to learn, I feel like it's a worthwhile investment, but completely up to you and your budget and your needs. There are classes on YouTube that you can take, so if you're not feeling like Skillshare is the way to go, just search some watercolor classes on YouTube. Like that's totally fine too. So you can see that I've worked now on one of the mountain ranges in the back, and it had a couple of mixture colors. It mostly was brown in my indigo color with a touch of the red to kind of give you where the sun is going to sit. But mostly it was the darker shades. And then for this other mountain in the front, and of course these layers have all dried. Don't work wet next to wet or it bleeds and you won't have crisp lines. So that is something I do know about watercoloring. But so I started with the closest mountains to us. I started with a red, and then I kind of went in with the brown to kind of, tone it back a little bit. And then we're going to kind of work from there into the indigo sepia mixture to kind of create a really cool shading effect. And then we go and paint in the sun with some gouache, which I thought was really fun. Obviously, if you're really into watercoloring and you would just not have paint on the sun portion and then it would just be the white of the paper. However, I am not there, so I have gouache because that's the way to go. And that's how the instructor showed it as well, because this is a beginner course for watercolorists. So she just showed it where you kind of go in and just gouache in your sun, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, that is kind of the video. So you guys tell me your thoughts, please. If you'd rather I don't talk through these videos, that's perfectly fine. Let me know, because like I said, I can't really teach you what I'm doing because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I can either talk to you guys about, if you're scared to try something new, we can talk about that. Or if you want to talk about something else, you could ask me a question. We could do like a little Q&A through these ones. I could paint and then just answer some questions if you guys have any. Or you let me know what you might like to hear from these videos. So obviously, my card videos will still be a tutorial, so I will still be talking through those ones. But for the painting video, if you have any thoughts, let me know. I would be happy to answer any questions or, just discuss things with you. You guys let me know what you're thinking. So this is this painting. We're pretty much almost done. They're meant to be really quick other than waiting for the layers of paint to dry. Other than that portion, these are really quick. They're meant to be about 15-minute-ish paintings, plus drying time and color mixing if you don't have the actual color that the instructor's calling for in the class. So it's kind of, up to you. And I did end up mixing my paints on a separate ceramic palette. You can kind of see it above my painting. Later, I'm just going to mix in the actual wells of my watercolor palette, just because I thought it was easier than moving paint constantly. So that's what I'm going to do later, because we do a lot of color mixing throughout the class. She does seem to have you mix mid-tones with the two colors that you're using, so the lighter color and the darker color. So it's really interesting that way, but I'm going to start mixing on the actual watercolor pan instead as we kind of go. But yeah, so if you are, hoping to try something new in 2025, please give it a go. I know how scary it can feel as an adult trying something new, because we seem to have gotten into a point where we believe that adults should just be all knowledgeable, like they shouldn't be beginners at anything, and that's so unrealistic. So, if you're going to start something new, please give yourself the grace that you would give me, knowing that this is my first ever landscape painting, and I promise that not all of them turn out as cool as this one. Although, I wish my ombre was a bit smoother, but that's something I'll learn as I kind of practice and do. So please try something new if that's something you're interested in. And please be kind to yourself. There's enough stuff in the world that wants to bring you down. Don't help it. So, and if you want to try something new and you want to share it with me, please do. I have a Facebook group. You can come and show stuff, and the people in the group are phenomenal. They're very, very kind, very, very understanding, lovely people. So, come and share stuff with me. By all means, please feel free to do. I would love to see it, and I'm going to be happy to cheer you on in your endeavors, because I know how scary it can feel to try something new, especially as an adult. So please do. But yeah, leave me a comment, leave me a like, consider subscribing if you haven't already. You guys know my 2025 goal is to hit 25,000 subscribers. So if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you. And that is the video for you guys today. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I will see you again tomorrow for my next video. Bye-bye for now, guys.